Immediately, within 1 minute, blue screen of death again. I didn't get back here in time to catch it. Last time I turned it on, it was 2:58 p.m. and hopefully we'll see what time it is now. $3:01. Okay. Try this again, see how long it takes.
Audience, to stay seated after the next Friday after that.
Page unresponsive. That's just not a good sign.
Before everybody got a trophy, and it was called personal responsibility. 63 co-sponsors to the resolution that Ms. Stefanik and I will be filing today to express the sense of Congress that President Trump did not commit an insurrection. I want to express my gratitude to Senator Vance for filing the companion legislation over in the Senate. And now it's time for members of the House and Senate to show where they stand on this question. We and the former president welcome and expect many more co-sponsors in the coming days and look forward to a floor vote. And now I'd like to recognize my co-lead on this project, our terrific Republican Conference Chair, Elise Stefanik.
Thank you so much, Matt Gaetz. The American people are smart. They know that the weaponized attacks of radical far-left prosecutors and Joe Biden's Department of Justice against President Donald Trump are nothing more than a targeted political witch hunt used to further their own extreme far-left political agenda and hijack the will of the American people come Election Day. As President Donald Trump continues to dominate in the polls, extreme Democrats will stop at nothing in attempt to prevent President Donald Trump from returning to the White House, and the Democrats are shredding the Constitution in the process. Joe Biden claims that democracy is on the ballot, yet the American people know that it is Joe Biden and Democrats who are openly attacking democracy. I am honored to stand as an original co-sponsor on Congressman Gates' resolution that President Donald Trump did not engage in insurrectional rebellion against the United States. That is a fact. Rogue far-left Democrat operatives are attempting to use this lie to illegally take President Trump off the ballot. This week, the Supreme Court will begin arguments in Trump v. Anderson to determine if liberal activist judges have the right to erase Donald Trump from the ballot, steal the election, and the American people's right to elect our leaders. For the sake of American democracy, I am proud to fight for President Trump and the tens of millions of American patriots who face political persecution. With that, I am honored to turn it over to Bill Posey, our colleague who is also a co-sponsor of this bill. Bill.
Thank you. And thank you, Congressman Gates, for leading on this.
Okay, I'm going to pause it again.
The same people trying to keep Donald Trump off the ballot.
Okay, it looks like it's going to crash again. It just froze without being touched. See if I can catch it doing that. Let's see. Cursor won't work. Okay. Come on, do something. Ugh. Escape. Try escape. Nope. Enter. Nope. Shake the mouse around. Nope. Right arrow. Nope. Well, it's never just frozen like this before and not crashed. So I'm going to leave it alone and see what happens, because something has to happen. It has to crash or something. Has to either crash or keep going, so let's see. I really don't want to do anything, like turn it off, but I might have to. All right, let me push the power button once, see what happens. Nothing. Hold it down. Nothing. Control Alt Delete. Hold down. Nothing. All right, and close the lid. It did nothing. Aha, there we go. There we go. Didn't do a blue screen of death. Yes, it started up again. Okay, that's maybe not. Power's still on. And I'm not touching a thing. Okay, restarting, obviously. All right, this screen again. F3, F4. And it shuts down. Restart. All right. All right. So far, so good. You see, I have no idea what's wrong with it, that it keeps doing this. And when it does it over and over and over again, I can't use it at all.
But he was charged with entering a restricted building, disorderly conduct, violent entry, and parading in the Capitol building. Petty offenses. But what we found out is he
There, I'm doing that because I want
was waved into the Capitol. And what did a Capitol police officer say? Well, the crowd was large. We waved him in. That was the testimony given by a police.
Okay. Now you get to see it. This is what it does. And then it goes to that startup screen again and again. All right, F3 and F4. Turn it on. Windows failed to start. A recent hardware or software change might be the cause. To fix the problem, insert your Windows installation disk and restart your computer. I don't have that. Choose your language settings and click Next. Click Repair your computer. If you do not have this disk, contact your system administrator or computer manufacturer for assistance. That's you guys. It says File, Windows System 32 winload.efi, status OXC0000185, info, the application or operating system couldn't be loaded because a required file is missing or contains errors. enter equals OS selection, OS selection, escape equals UEFI firmware settings. Well, let me try escape. Okay, that seemed to turn it off. Let me try turning it back on. All right, this again, F3 and F4. And power back on. Okay. And again, the touchpad doesn't work. Let me try hitting. Oh boy. Okay, it's not letting me get out of this screen. There we go. All right. So you see the touchpad problem was intermittent from the beginning, and this problem here is intermittent, but the touchpad did not work much more often than it did work. And the computer's getting to where it's doing that, but it's not there yet. Sometimes it will work, but not for long, usually.
Happened to be here, peacefully wandering around. But he was charged with entering a restricted building, disorderly conduct, violent entry, and parading in the Capitol building. Petty offenses. But what we found out is he was waved into the Capitol. And what did the Capitol police officer say? Well, the crowd was large. We waved him in. That was the testimony given by a police officer. That doesn't sound like an insurrection. Neither do these comments by President Trump. Stay peaceful. Please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They're truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful. 30 minutes later, I'm asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. No violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. That doesn't sound like an insurrection. How about this? Exclusive. The FBI finds scant evidence the U.S. Capitol attack was coordinated. FBI investigators did find that some cells of protesters, including followers of two groups, Oath Keepers and Proud Boys, had aimed to break into the Capitol, but they found no evidence that the groups had any serious plans about what to do if they made it inside the Capitol. That doesn't sound like an insurrection. Further, the FBI found no evidence that President Trump or people directly around him were involved in organizing violence, according to law enforcement personnel. No charges filed for insurrection or treason. How about when Director Wray came in and testified before Judiciary? He said there were three groups on the Capitol that day. Largely, and by far the majority, were peaceful. Second group were people that, for whatever reason, they entered the Capitol, but they were peaceful. but they committed a trespass. And then you had a small group that was violent. We call that a riot. Well, but that's not how it happened. The Democrats, they insisted that it was an insurrection, but the exchange between Eric Swalwell trying to get this director to say that it was an insurrection at the hearing in June of 2021, where Director Ray said, well, Congressman, I understand why you describe it that way, but as the FBI director, that term has legal meaning. It was not an insurrection, but the crazos on the left, supported by their accomplices in the media, continue to try to harass and have President Trump removed from ballots using this false narrative. And it is a false narrative. And that's why I'm here. I appreciate Representative Gates and Representative Stefanik. And I will be supporting this bill. And I will just tell you one other thing. When I think of insurrection, well, I'm not even going to go there. I can just tell you this. I wish you'd all take a look at your leftist colleagues in the Congress who've advocated violence over time. Then tell me what insurrection is. I yield now to my friend from Tennessee, Mr. Burchett.
Thank you. I'm used to going at the end. Usually the custodian's up here moving the mic around and saying, and say, were you going to say something? I go, no, I was just here to clean up. I want to thank my dear friend Matt Gaetz for including me in this. You know, it's a sad day when free speech is weaponized, especially against a political opponent. It's hard to engage in an insurrection when you weren't even there. President Trump told protesters to protest peacefully. He said, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful. Now, dadgummit, I don't know what he can say more than that. Does this sound like someone engaging in insurrection? Hell no. What happened at our Capitol was not good, but President Trump did not make these people do this, and he sure wasn't engaged in it himself. You know, used to be something in this country before everybody got a trophy, and it was called personal responsibility. Personal responsibility. But President Trump is a man who loves our country, especially our law enforcement. If you've ever been with him, it drives the Secret Service crazy every time he sees a group of police officers because he always stops to speak to them. And lots of people have valid concerns about the security of our elections, and Trump made his concerns known. It's not illegal in this country, at least it used to not be, to have a First Amendment. It's not illegal for Trump, and it's not illegal for your everyday Americans. This is about the left wanting to remove him. They will do anything to get it done. You're allowed to have an opinion of President Trump, but he did not engage in an insurrection. And on a personal note, you know, I was the last person, the very last House member to leave the House floor. I called the investigators twice because someone was actually doing a blog or something in the tunnel with their computer on to other people. I explained this to them. I called them twice. They never called me back. I went on my own volition and someone else who is no longer a member of Congress, and we reviewed those tapes, and I pointed out who it was, and it turned out it was a member of the media. Yet I never could get anyone to return my calls on the investigation and my repeated attempts. And I sure as hell wasn't invited back to the January 6th Commission, which was a joke. So thank y'all very much. And I yield to my good buddy from Tennessee, the gentleman farmer, John Rose.
All right, I'm going to pause.
Thank you, Tim.
Use the politics, but
we
that's
shouldn't
what's
have
on
to be
right
here
now.
today,
Pause.
but we are.